Okay, so we've set our fish tank aquarium environment up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look to add some code, and need to make sure that the fish is selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click it, go to info, and change the name, not to fish 3, just to fish. And the reason for that is I don't need fish 3, I need to have a reasonable name so I can identify this character, this sprite. Now to control it, we're going to move the fish along the x-axis and along the y-axis using the arrow keys on the keyboard. So to change to get input from the keys, we're going to look at events, because we need to. The event is when the key is pressed, and what we're going to do is when space key pressed, and we're going to leave from the little drop down. We're going to do the up arrow. So you'll remember that the y-axis is vertical, so we're going to change it vertically across the y-axis. Now if I can just get this reasonably centered. Okay, so now this is at y.0. No, it's not. It's at y1. So we'll leave it at y1, because I don't think I'm going to get it any closer. So if you look up in this top right hand corner, you'll see the y-axis. Now as I move the fish up, y increases, it goes positive, and as I move the fish down, you'll notice it starts to go negative. So what we need to do is when we're changing the x and y axes, so changing the x and y, the y position, to go up, it's going to need to be positive. So if we go to motion, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag a change y by 10, and what that's going to allow us to do is to move up 10 spaces at a time. Now if we click the green flag, we can just test this. So I'm pushing the up arrow, and this is quite happily moving up, and if I push the down arrow, it doesn't do anything. One thing we can do is, because we know we're still going to work on the y-axis, is we can right click the where it says when, so just where it says when, right click it, click duplicate and move it down. We can change this to down arrow, and then we can change this to -10. So as we click out of it now, and we click the green flag again, if I push the down arrow, it moves down. If I click the up arrow, it moves up. So that's working perfectly fine. If when you push the down arrow it's going up, you need to change these values round. Another thing I've also seen is if you push the down arrow and it's moving left and right, you need to make sure that this is change the y-axis. So we're going to do something similar for the left and right, and unsurprisingly this is going to be changing the x-axis. So we're going to do right arrow, go to motion, change x-axis by 10, right click, duplicate. We're going to do the left arrow and change that by -10. And as we click out of this, when we push the green flag, this is right arrow, left arrow, and that's working fine. Now the only problem we've got here is as I'm pushing the left arrow, the fish is sort of like moonwalking backwards. We kind of want it to face in the right direction, to be honest. For that, what we do is we drag the set rotation style left right, and if on edge bounce, and then we've got points. Where's point in direction and point in direction. So what we're going to do here is we want to change this drop down to point right, and we want to change this drop down to point left. So now as I click green flag, as I point left, it turns around left, and it does this, which is exactly what we want it to do. So now it's moving as it's supposed to, and it's pointing in the right direction, which is exactly what we want it to do.